humble obeisances and pushpanjali to our Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Jai Sri Krishna Janmastami ki. Sri Krishna Janmastami ki. Sri Krishna Janmastami ki. And to Lord Krishna, his beloved consort, Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani ki. Srimati Radharani ki. Sri Radhika ki. Jai Sri Krishna Nandini Srimati Radharani ki. What would Krishna be without Radharani? Nirvishesh Brahma. We can't have that. I'm also offering my obeisances to Sripad Bhaktivedanta Padmanabha Maharaj and to all the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada and all the disciples of Srila Gurudev and all the disciples of all of the different Vaishnavacharyas that are disciples of here today, and all of our beloved friends and guests who have come here to help us participate in the celebration of Sri Krishna's birthday. We will hear so many different glories of Lord Krishna and all of his associates today. And we've been hearing them this morning. We had an ecstatic class. I think it almost could be still going if we hadn't stopped it. So this will be a continuation of that divine mercy that Srila Gurudev has brought to this community to bestow his blessings of pure bhakti. Without pure bhakti, we have no chance to get the desired goal. The goal is pure bhakti. The process is pure bhakti. And Gurudev has made all arrangements here in New Braj and all over the world for us to have this extraordinary chance. So today on Sri Janmashtami, we're beginning our evening programs. We've just had wonderful bhajans. Words can't express how beautiful our beloved Thakurjis, Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar Ju ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra and Sudarshan Chakra Ju ki jai, Shri Srinath Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Lakshmi Devi ki jai, Rupani Guru Varga ki jai. Static, beautiful decorations, flower arrangements, dressing, so many gardens, so beautiful. Thank you to all the devotees that have worked so hard and done so much seva to make this happen. I'm sure Gurudev is smiling, and Srila Prabhupada is smiling and seeing all these wonderful decorations and sweet flower-like hearts of the devotees who come to make these offerings and to glorify Lord Krishna today. So we're beginning now with Sripad Bhaktivedanta Padmanabha Maharaj. We'll give a class glorifying Shrita Kamala Cha, beautiful kirtan. And then after that, we're going to have Arti. After Arti, we'll have a few bhajans and then begin another class with Sriman Radhakanta Prabhu. Then we'll have more bhajans and then calling other devotees to speak. And we have a very special presentation. We have some nice, just like at the festival, we're going to have some video of Srila Gurudev speaking about the glories of Krishna's pastimes, especially his childhood pastimes. And then we'll have some more Hari Katha and then Abhishek. By then we'll have reached midnight when Sri Krishna appears. Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much for coming, and especially the guests that have arrived today. This is our aim and object here in New Braj, to facilitate the devotees and Vaishnavas here, and to also attract and bring guests and give them the opportunity to serve this Krishna conscious movement through this avenue of New Braj Dham. Jai Hare Krishna.
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayati Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratishe Namaha Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Patare Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, everyone together. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radhakanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanusute Devi, Pranamami Haripriye. Jayatam Suruto Pangor Mama Mandamatergati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagar Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestagini Sevyamano Smadami Shriman Rasarasaram Bhivam Shivata Tatakstitaha Karshana Venu Swanayra Gopir Gopinata Shri Stunaha Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshaik Shibtascha Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Brindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satchavachai Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya everyone Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, on this most auspicious day in the whole universe, not just here, on this planet. But this day of Sri Krishna Janmashtami, the transcendental appearance day of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra in our universe on this very planet. This most auspicious day we are observing for filling our minds and our hearts with the transcendental nectar of Sri Krishna Katha. And that is why Sri Krishna appeared in our universe, why he performed all of his pastimes in Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka, to attract all the conditioned souls to his beautiful, sweet name, form, qualities, pastimes, so that they will want to serve him eternally in the transcendental spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, and attain their eternal relationship with Krishna. So on this great auspicious occasion, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, I'm first of all offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta, Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa Asto Tarsata, Sri Srila, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. So our beloved Srila Prabhupada, he is the one who brought Krishna to the whole world, who gave the Krishna book, the transcendental 10th canto, all the pastimes of Sri Krishna, and who gave Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In this way he gave all these essential Vaishnava Shastras to make the foundation for the whole world to become Vaishnavas and come into the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what kind of incredible contribution Srila Prabhupada made for this whole world, we cannot even begin to estimate how extremely beautiful, wonderful, astonishing this combination, this contribution is coming from him. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nityalila Pravishta, Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Ashtatarasata, Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, our most worshipable beloved Srila Gurudev. And how Gurudev, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, all these incredible, pure Mahabhagavad, Rasik Vaishnavas, how they maintained this mission for hundreds of years, coming down from the 6 Goswamis, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vijayabhushan, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and all of his disciplic succession of great, great Vaishnavas up to the present day. So we are so fortunate that we've come into this line. And especially our beloved Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj has given the deepest moods and revealed to the world the very deep and special Siddhanta and also realizations of all of our previous acharyas, how they have written in their commentaries. He has actually enabled all of us, and in the future generations, the whole world of Vaishnavas, to approach this ultimate destination of Vraj Bhakti, of Unnata Ujvala Rasa Swabhakti Shriyam, the Parakiya Bhav pastimes, Mahabhav Swarupini, Shrimati Radharani. And whenever Srila Gurudev has given his unique commentaries and explanations, it's very amazing how he draws everything to Radha and Krishna, and especially to Srimati Radhika. Now we're going to hear how Gurudev does this in his commentary on Krishna Janmashtami Day. So there's two different days, 2002 and 2003. They've combined it together in the Hari Katha. And I was reading that this afternoon and just completely astonished. To understand Gurudev's commentary on the song of Sri Jayadev Goswami Pad, Shrita Kamala. And Gurudev was very attached to this song. I've seen it so many times on all the special occasions, during Kartik, during Krishna Janmashtami, all of these special appearance days of the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees, but particularly on these days, Srila Gurudev emphasized this song. He would always have this song sung for the whole congregation. So on this day, when Srila Prabhupada was in Mathura, observing Sri Krishna Janmashtami 2002-2003, on both of those occasions, he gave some commentary on this entire song, Shrita Kamala. On one of the days, he only gave commentary on like 3 verses. And then in the other year, on the remaining verses. So this is combined together very wonderfully. And so I want to read this, but I also want to point out that we will read the actual translation, okay, of each verse. There's 8 verses, and then there's a 9th verse, Falashruti verse. And these 8 verses, they have the general translation, which is also very sweet and very wonderful. But then when you hear Gurudev break this down, what is the meaning of these words, and how he draws every single verse, even the verses speaking about Sita Devi, Janaka Sutta, and also the verses about the demigods, like the general translation. But we will see how amazingly Srila Gurudev has drawn the deepest possible meaning from this. Oh, my Dandavat pranams to all my Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis who have come to this wonderful festival and celebration, and also new persons and friends and guests. Hare Krishna. Hare. All glory to the assembled devotees. Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala E. So the general meaning of this verse, the translation, is, O you, Krishna, who take shelter of the round breasts of Kamala, that means Radha. O you, whose ears are decorated with earrings, and who wears an enchanting garland of forest flowers. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. Jaya Jaya Deva. So now Gurudev is explaining this first verse. Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala means that Krishna is taking shelter of the breasts of Srimati Radhika. And this is because of what happens to him at the moment he sees her. What happens to Krishna? The moment he sees Srimati Radhika, so who has written about this? Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has described how Krishna feels when he sees Srimati Radhika. Simply upon seeing her, and by the influence of her Mahabhav, Sri Krishna's flute falls from his hands, His peacock feather falls to the ground. His pitambara, his yellow chadar, slips down. And he himself begins to faint. And at that time, he is taking shelter of the breasts of Srimati Radhika. So in this verse, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati is praying, when will I perform rasa upasana of that very Srimati Radhika? Rasa upasana means rendering service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna by following in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari. That's the meaning of rasa upasana. So in this verse, Krishna sees Srimati Radhika from far away. And at the time of his leaving his home in the morning to go cow herding, he begins to faint because he sees Srimati Radhika from far away. And this condition is coming over him. So at this time, Madhu Mangal catches Krishna and says, "Oh, my friend, what are you doing? What are you doing? Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba can see you." So then Krishna composes himself. The next word, Drita Kundala. Drita Kundala. Shri Krishna's, his kundalas, his earrings, the ornament or the beauty that decorates his ears. What actually is that? It is Srimati Radhika's very beautiful words, her glorification of him. Later on in the other lecture it says, like Nanda Nandan Ashtakam. Who has actually spoken and composed this Nanda Nandan Ashtakam? Gurudev says Srimati Radhika. It is coming from her. So, the ornament or the beauty that is decorating his ears is Srimati Radhika's very beautiful words, Drita Kundala. And hearing the sound of her sweet voice, Krishna's flute falls to the ground. Kalita Lalita Vanamala. So Kalita means extremely beautiful. So Krishna wears a very beautiful Vanamala, or a garland of forest flowers. So a question arises as to who made this garland, and the answer is, guess who? That Srimati Radhika herself has made it and placed it around his neck. Jai Jai Deva Hare. So Jai is sung 2 times here, and it has 2 meanings. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare means all glories to the beloved, worshipful deity of Sri Jayadev Goswami, because Jayadev is there. Jaya Jayadev Hare. And it also means, may that Lord, Sri Krishna, who is glorified by this song, by this Mangalam Gitam, may he be victorious, because Jai also means victory. So in the second meaning, all glories to that Sri Krishna is said twice. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always immersed in Srimati Radhika's mood. But when he heard this song, his mood at once changed to that of Sri Krishna. When did Mahaprabhu hear this song? In Puri. Where in Puri?
Right by the temple.
In what? Outside of the temple? Inside of the temple? Remember?
Outside.
Outside of the temple. And he was in a garden. Right? He was in a garden. Mahaprabhu. I don't know for sure which, there's so many gardens along there. But there was one lady who she was just there and probably doing some of her chores or whatever, but she was chanting, this beautiful song, Mangala Gitam, which is so commonly sung for Lord Jagannath practically every single day, because Lord Jagannath loves this song. So this lady was singing this song in such a beautiful way, and Mahaprabhu, by hearing this song, what happened was he started to become a little bit overwhelmed by the Krishna mood, because generally Mahaprabhu is always overwhelmed by Srimati Radhika's bhavs, right? So, but in this case, as he heard this, he was always immersed in Srimati Radhika's mood, but when he heard this song, his mood at once changed to that of Shri Krishna. And at that time he wanted to embrace the singer, thinking that she may be Srimati Radhika, or Srimati Lalita Devi, or Vishaka Devi. So therefore, when he was checked, because his servant Govinda ran after him as he was running towards there, and practically like grabbed him and tackled him. What are you doing? So when Govinda checked him, then he embraced Govinda. And he said, oh, I was about to return to my mood and my nature as Krishna, but you checked me. And if you had not done so, I would have lost the purpose for which I came in this form. And also everyone would know that I am Krishna. You have saved me. So this is the first meaning. This is the first meaning. And in the second meaning, Lord Chaitanya is telling Govinda, you saved me. If you had not done so, if I had touched that woman, I would have then jumped in the river and drowned there. So in this way, there are two very good and very deep meanings, because Mahaprabhu was also showing example. Always Mahaprabhu was showing example. But when he went into his internal moods, then he forgot. So then Gurudev is making a comment here. He's saying that many sannyasis, those in the renounced order, they give up their sannyas because they like to associate with ladies. And they rationalize their activities by saying, so many ladies come to me, what can I do? They come automatically without my invitation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not listen to these arguments. So you should be very careful. If a lady comes to you with a spirit of enjoyment, slap her and speak harshly to her. I remember that year, I'm not going to say any names, but Gurudev actually did this in the mood of trying to protect one of his young sannyasis at that time. So then Gurudev says, you should slap her and speak very harshly to her. I am very strict about this, although I am very polite by nature, right? Gurudev, very polite by nature. In these matters, I am very strict. I cannot tolerate this. Girls should be especially careful regarding their motives for coming here. They sometimes come to pick up brahmacharis or sannyasis, and I have warned them not to come for this. They may come only to hear Harikatha, and they must be very strong in Krishna consciousness. They should come to develop love and affection like the gopis have for Krishna, and by first having love and affection for Guru and real Vaishnavas. So I request you all, sannyasis, brahmacharis, and girls, to be very careful in this regard. I have so much affection for my daughters, but I want to be very strict with them. Jai Gurudev. Next point he's making is Bhavakandana, because that's coming in the next verse that he's commenting on. So that verse, Bhavakandana, the second verse, Dina Mani Mandala Mandana Bhavakandana e Muni Janamana Sahansa Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So here it says, O ornament of the sun globe. It's talking about the sun globe. So, O you who severs the bondage of material existence, O swan who sports in the lake of the sages' minds, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So Bhavakandana refers to the coming and the going in the endless cycle of birth and death and suffering in this material world. For those in this world, Sri Krishna puts an end to all sorrows and all sufferings in the cycle of birth and death. The gopis of Vrindavan, however, they have a different kind of suffering. For them, suffering means separation from Sri Krishna. Srimati Radhika and the gopis, they feel great separation from him, and he puts an end to that suffering. So at the time of their separation, he manifests to them in the form of a spurti, momentary vision, or in person he comes and he relieves them from the fire of separation. Muni Jana Manasa Hangsa. So Krishna Bhagavan is the swan, because Hamsa means swan. So Krishna Bhagavan is the swan who plays on the lake of the minds of munis, like Sri Narada Muni, Sri Shukadev Goswami, and of course, Sri Jayadev Goswami, who is no less than Rishi Narad or Sri Shukadev Goswami. And then Gurudev jumps to the end of the kirtan, and he says, at the end of the kirtan, Srila Jayadev Goswami prays, Idam kurute mudam. Now, mudam means means overjoyed, mudam. He prays, may all the world become auspicious and overjoyed. He prays to Sri Krishna on behalf of all the people in the world to manifest within their hearts the transcendental pastimes described in this kirtan. He is very merciful, just like Srila Rupa Goswami, because Srila Rupa Goswami also prays in the shloka that he composed, Anarpita Chitam Shirat. At the end of the shloka, what is he praying? Hridaya Kandare Spuratuva Sachinandanaha. That means, may Sri Sachinandan manifest himself within the innermost region of the hearts of all. So Srila Rupa Goswami did not pray for himself. He prayed that Srimad Mahaprabhu, who kindly manifest in the hearts of everyone. Vaishnavas are causelessly merciful. They pray to Krishna on behalf of all the jivas. So in conclusion, Srila Jayadev Goswami is saying, Mangala Ujvala Gitam, which means that this song, because Ujvala means radiant, shining, and he's saying Mangala Ujvala Gitam. That means this very auspicious, radiant song, Gitam. But what does that actually mean? It means that this song is full of Unnata Ujvala Rasa, the transcendental Parakya Rasa of Mahabhav Swarupini Srimati Radhika. Now, then Srila Gurudev requested the assembled devotees to chant Srila Jayadev Goswami's Dash Avatar Stotram, and at the end of which the kirtan leader chanted, Jaya Das Avatar, Jaya Das Avatar, all glories to the 10 avatars, incarnations of Lord Krishna. But Gurudev corrected him. You know what the correction was?
Don't say.
Because this is Das Avatar Stotram. Yeah. Yes, so Gurudev said, don't sing this ending. Das Avatar, Jaya Das Avatar. He said, this song is not the glorification of the 10 avatars. Keshava Dhrita, Dasa Vidharupa. This is the glorification of Keshava, Krishna Chandra, Shyama Sundar, Rajendra Nandan. So you can sing instead, Jaya Dasa Avatari. So wait. Jaya Dasa Avatari, not Dasa Avatar. Jaya Das Avatari, Jaya Das Avatari. All glories to that Krishna Bhagavan, who is the origin of all these avatars. So then the devotees chanted the kirtans, the 2 kirtans that Gurudev taught the entire world. Which are those? Namami Nanda Nanda, 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 Namami Nanda Nanda. And then, after the devotees sang that Ashtakam, which other song did they sing that Gurudev introduced to the entire world? Munindra Vrindavandite Triloka Shoka Harini Prasanna Vaktra Pankaje Nikunja Bhuvilasini Brajendra Bhanu Nandini Brajendra Sunu Sangate Kadakarishyasi Hama Kripakataksha Bhajanam So Gurudev says, when Srimati Radharani, when Radhika hears this Sri Nandanandanastakam, she becomes overjoyed and she wants to give a benediction. At that time, she bestows the lotus feet of her Prana Ballabha, the beloved of her very life's breath, Sri Krishna. She bestows his lotus feet upon the devotees who bring her so much happiness by singing this Ashtakam. Then, alternately, if someone will sing Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj, then this is which is the glorification of Srimati Radhika. Sri Krishna becomes overjoyed, and he wants to give the benediction of the lotus feet of his beloved Srimati Radhika. So Sri Nandanandanastakam has originally emanated from the lotus mouth of Srimati Radhika. And she is singing it to Sri Krishna, either to his spurti, her vision of him, in separation mood, or directly to him. Because his beauty is astonishing, she describes each and every one of his limbs. And at the same time, Sri Krishna thinks, in this world, no one has qualities as I possess. Krishna's thinking. No one is as beautiful as I am, and no one has attributes as I do. The person, though, Srimati Radhika, has hundreds of times the qualities that I possess. She is my praying guru. This is explained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 4, wherein it is also stated that the gopis have all relationships with Krishna. This is a very wonderful point Gurudev is making here. The gopis have all relationships with Krishna. Manifest in Mother Yashoda are present still more so in who? In the gopis. So in the first verse of Sri Nandanandanastakam, it is stated, Suchara Vaktra Mangalam, Lord Krishna's face is very beautiful when he has darshan of Srimati Radhika at the time of Ras Leela. Srila Vyasadeva did not write Ras Leela in Srimad Bhagavatam. He didn't. Vyasadeva didn't write Ras Leela in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then where did it come from? Rather, it spontaneously in his heart by spurti. Then he spoke it. This spurti takes place by the mercy of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is an eternal shastra, like the Vedas, but it is many times superior. So why did Lord Krishna manifest his Ras Leela? Why? Why did Krishna manifest his Ras Leela? Ordinary devotees, they cannot mental greed. By hearing Ras Leela from pure devotees, one develops lobha, transcendental greed, to obtain that very confidential and difficult to obtain parakiya ras, unnata ujvala bhav, paramur love for Krishna. Krishna performed Ras Leela to awaken greed in the hearts of those who are not qualified, to make them qualified to taste Ras. And by the same exhibition of Ras Leela, he also increases the mellows tasted of those who are already tasting Ras. So for those who are not, he gives them qualification. And for those who are already tasting, he increases that. So he is therefore very merciful. And Srimati Radhika is even more merciful than him. So in Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's Sri Radha Kunda Ashtakam, the third verse, so it states there, Agaripurapiyatnat atra devya prasadam prasara krita kataksha praptikama prakamam anusarati yaduchai snana sevanubandhais tadati surabhi radha kundameva shrayo me. And actually Gurudev kind of changed the last words of this last line, where it says Tadati surabhi radha kundam Eva Ashrayo Me. Raghunath Goswami is saying that he's taking shelter of Radhakunda, right? But Gurudev stuck in Eva Shrimati Radhikayo Me. So, the translation of this is for the pleasure of Srimati Radhika. Even Sri Krishna himself, yearning to attain her merciful sidelong glance, regularly bathes in Radhakunda, carefully observing all the appropriate rituals. May that supremely enchanting Radhakunda be my shelter. So in this verse, it is explained that Lord Krishna is merciful, but he himself seeks the mercy of Srimati Radhika. For second, I will not be able to maintain my life. These moods have been manifested by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhajan means, what does bhajan mean? Not only sitting and playing a song on the harmonium and singing. We call that bhajans. But Gurudev is saying, bhajan means to follow in their footsteps, these great personalities, and to recite these kirtans, developing their moods, so that a vision of the meaning of these kirtans and the transcendental pastimes will enter our heart. Krishna has performed innumerable pastimes, but out of all pastimes, Ras Leela is best and most powerful. We have heard many times about the pastimes of Mother Yashoda binding baby Krishna, and this pastime has astonishing power, Damodar Leela. Yet, Ras Leela is billions of times more powerful. Srila Shukadev Goswami has therefore said, Vikriditam vrajavadubiridam cha Vishnu Shradhan vito anushunuya datavarnaibhya Bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam Hridrogamashu panotya charena dhira. Translation of this verse at the end of the entire 5 chapters of Ras Leela. And now Shukadev Goswami is speaking this verse, that anyone of the heart. Now Gurudev's explanation of this is really astonishing. He breaks this down. He says, one should hear the sweet pastimes performed by Lord Krishna when he sports with the damsels of Braja. According to this verse, we should hear them, anu shrenuyat. Anu means under the guidance of Sadguru and Vaishnavas. That's what anu means. Anu shrenuyat, under the guidance of Sadguru and Vaishnavas. And it also means continuously hearing these pastimes while rendering service to Guru and afterwards describing them. What will be the result? Bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam. Now here, the word kama is being referred to the Hrid Rog. The Hrid Rog means the disease in the heart, which is kam, material lust. But in this case, Gurudev is telling, no. Now hear his explanation. Here the word kama, it means prem bhav. The love of the gopis will manifest in the heart. And as a result of this, all material lust will be eradicated from Vijay Leela. What is it called? Param Vijay Leela. What does that mean? Supremely victorious Leela. Param Vijay. Just like Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Samkirtanam. This Leela is Param Vijay. Supremely conquering Leela. The pastime, this Param Vijay Leela means the pastime which enables one to become completely victorious over lust. No one has the power to independently overcome lust. And therefore our Goswamis have manifested this Leela and its deep bhavs in their writings, so that one will be able to overcome lust and enter into the Leela. So a serious devotee, he makes the service of Sri Radha Krishna in this the ultimate and the only aim and object of life. So I'm completing this here because there's a whole nother section, but it's time for the Artik. Yes, time for the Artik. And but just see how Srila Gurudev, and in the second part, he's even more so directing everyone toward Srimati Radhika and Gopis, everything, in every single verse. We'll have to hear how Gurudev unfolds and reveals that in the second lecture here. So on Sri Krishna Janmashtami evening, now we're going to perform the Sandhya Artik of Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Radha Govinda Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Janmashtami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamahotsav Ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Vansha Kalpatarubhascha.
There's a booming voice. You can start. The trick is straight.
Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Guruve Gunachandraya Radhika Etagalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah. Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayane Sarvamangala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidayane Radha Samukha Samshaktim Sati Sangha Nivashinim Tamaham Satatam Vande Guru Rupam Param Sakim Namashreshtam Manumapi Sachi Putra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Rupunim Maturim Gostavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Aho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tanatosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Siyuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitamscha Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmasha Nashaya Janavapataye Namaha Namaste Halagraha Namaste Mushalayuda Namaste Revati Kanta Namaste Bhakta Vatsala Namaste Balanam Shrestha Namaste Dharanidara Pralambare Namaste Stu Krishna Purvaji Janulambita Bhujo Kanaka Vadapto Sankirtayana Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Avataro Anarpita Charim Charat Karunaya Vatirna Kalo Samarpaitum Unata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Sri Hari Purata Sundara Duti Kadamba Sandipitaha Sada Hridaye Kandale Spuratuva Sachinandana Jayati Janani Vasu Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishat Svedu Birasya Nadanam Stirachara Vijinana Sushmita Sri Mukena Brajapura Vanitanam Vadayan Kamadevam Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Samohini Para Jami Radham Maravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurasitasam Vadami Radham Karunavaradram Tato Mamanyasti Gatirna Kapi Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvayavina Itti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Chandite Adevika Kubara Gagdara Yajyavaksha Yache Nipatya Vidandava Udvatati Asya Prasadama Buddhasya Janasya Tritva Gandhar Vikeni Jagane Gunanandi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiktasya Kamaditarangamadi Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanam Brinde Namaste Charanara Brinde Namaste Charanara Brindam Brinde Namaste Charanara Sri Krishna Jayanti Ki Jai. First of all, I offer my humble obeisances to the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master, Paramaradhya Dev Nityalila Pravishnu Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Astu Tarasudasi Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. The same heartfelt obeisances to my beloved Shiksha Guru, Paramaradhya Dev Nityalila Pravishnu Om Vishnupad Astu Tarasudasi Srimad Srila Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj. To all of our illustrious Guru Varga, especially A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the Savior of the Western world. I offer my respectful obeisances to all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis present here today, headed by my Guru Jan, disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, and everyone, the guest present also. So many things to discuss on Janmashtami. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he's explaining the reason why Krishna himself is thinking, what Krishna is thinking when he wants to come as Sham Sundar in Vrindavan. And it's very significant. The pastimes of Braj Bhumi, they are completely transcendental. They have nothing to do with the mundane affairs of this material world. These pastimes. And Kalanemi had 6 sons. They did severe, you know the story? About Sadgarbhas? Devaki's children? So, not everyone knows the story, so it's a little background about Devaki's children that got killed. So, Kalanemi was the son of Hiranyaksha. And he had 6 sons. Those 6 sons did severe austerities, like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. They followed the example of their fathers and their uncles. They did such severe austerities that Lord Brahma himself was forced to come down and give them benedictions. Brahma's a Vaishnava, isn't it? Lord Brahma. But He's obliged. If someone does severe austerities, even though they're a demon, he's obliged to come and give them some benediction. So just like Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, he asked the sons of Kalanemi, what do you want? And they said, oh, we don't want to be killed by any yaksha, raksha, human being. We want to be able to be very powerful and all these things. Very similar benediction to what Hiranyakashipu asked. And so Brahma said, Tatastu, so be it. Right? But when their uncle, Hiranyakashipu, heard about the benedictions that they had received, and they dared to not approach him to ask for favor, because he had attained the position of the all-powerful, mighty Lord of the universe. He became very angry, very, very angry. How dare you? You're worshiping directly like this, and you're doing austerities to please Brahma. Therefore, I curse you. That you will all have to take birth as asuras, and you will die at the hand of your own family members, your own father. So Kalanemi, he took birth as Kamsa. And the 6 sons of Kalanemi, they took birth as the 6 children of Devaki that were killed in the womb, one after another. Right? So how Kalanemi became Kalanemi? Huh?
You say killed in the womb?
Killed, shortened it down, killed after they came up, they gave birth, Kamsa killed them. So Kalanemi in his previous birth, and the 6 Sadgarbhas, Brahma had 10 mental sons, one of which is Marichi. And Marichi also had sons. And when Brahma became agitated by sex desire for his first daughter, right? And he ran after her. And the sons of Marichi laughed. And Brahma became very angry, and he cursed them to take birth as demons. So those sons of Marichi, they became the sons of Kalanemi. And the sons of Kalanemi, then they became the sons of Devaki. So at this time, in the prison cell of Kamsa, we know that already all the 6 sons of Devaki, they were killed one after another by the hands of Kamsa. And Baladev had also been transferred by Yogamaya to the womb of Rohini. All this had taken place. Now is coming time for the birth of Krishna. According to Vasudev's mood of worship, according to his meditation of Narayan, 4-handed Vishnu form, that form appeared directly in front of Devaki and Vasudeva. First, it actually appeared in the mind of Vasudeva. Then from the mind of Vasudeva entered the heart and the womb of Devaki. Then manifest from Devaki's body. This 4-handed form of Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna. So, yayata mam prapadyante, according to the devotee's desire, how we worship Krishna, Krishna will manifest in that form to us. Simultaneously, at the time that Vasudeva Krishna appeared in the prison cell of Kamsa, he appeared in Goloka Vrindavan. He appeared there from the womb of Yashoda Devi. But there's some history. How Krishna appeared from Yashoda. Jiva Goswami gives the description in Gopal Champu. He describes that very beautiful story about starting with Nanda Maharaj and his 5 sons and their father Parjanya. How Parjanya was such a magnanimous father and leader of the cowherd community. Like a cloud. Parjanya means cloud, so he was always giving so much benediction to everyone. And when the time came that he became older and he wanted to hand over his kingdom, the natural thing to do was to hand it over to the eldest son, right? Which was Upananda, not Nanda. So Upananda was destined to be the king of Braj. But in the assembly, Upananda declared that actually Nanda Maharaj is the best of all the 5 sons. That he has more superior quality, that he's in the middle, and of all the Aishvaryas, Shri and Yasha are also in the middle, fame and beauty. So of all the 5 sons, Nanda Maharaj is in the middle. He has the most qualities. Therefore, he should be the king of Braj. And all the brothers, they agreed to this. And Upananda said, I will become the servant of Nanda. Upananda, I will become the support of Nanda Maharaj. So, the Brajbasis were very happy. Nanda Maharaj became king. And then the daughter of Samukha, Yashoda, came and was married to Nanda. And they were trying to have a child. But just like the story of Dasarath Maharaj and his queens, although he had so many queens, he could not have a child. So Yashoda was also, she could not have a child. They tried again and again, and they did so many yagnas. The Brahmins did different types of sacrifices, prayers. Everyone in Vrindavan, they loved Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda so much that they're always thinking how to help them, how to pray for them. Yes, Nanda needs a son, because who will take over the kingdom? But they couldn't have a son. Why couldn't they have a son?
Destiny.
What's the reason?
Destiny.
Destiny.
It was reserved for Krishna to come.
Yeah, why Krishna's not coming now in the beginning?
Makes it more exciting.
It's the
more,
creed.
more Ross.
So, I'll tell you why. Jiva Goswami explains in Gopal Champu that Nanda Maharaj used to have dreams. Their worshipful deity is who? Who is Nanda Maharaj's worshipful deity? Narayan. Yeah. Not Krishna. Krishna's their young boy. Right? They worship Narayan. And they know Narayan's very strong, powerful, beautiful, opulent. Right? And they desire to have a son. And in their mind's eye, Nanda and Yashoda both have the same vision of this beautiful boy, like a blue atasi flower. More beautiful actually than their Narayan. Because they have a deity of Narayan. They've also heard from sadhus the beauty of Narayan, how he has a beautiful blue tone, and he has, wonderful curly black hair, very similar to Krishna, Krishna's beauty. Almost like Krishna's beauty, but not quite like Krishna's beauty. So they're thinking that in their mind's eye and in their dreams, they're seeing this very beautiful boy. And at first, they didn't want to share with each other. And then finally, they share with each other, husband and wife. They say, I'm having this dream. Is this beautiful boy in your womb? Yashoda said, no, I'm dreaming also of this beautiful boy, but I'm very ashamed. Because it seems to be an aparad, an offense, to think that someone could be more beautiful than God. Right? How can anyone be more beautiful than God? So they felt embarrassed. They thought, this is impossible. We'll never have a child like this. So they became despondent. And partly for that reason, they couldn't have a child. So, then, they're thinking what to do. What austerities have we not performed yet? Oh, there's one Vrat. Dwadasi Vrat. I asked Gurudev, what does this mean, Dwadasi Vrat? He said, Ekadasi Vrat. To follow strictly Ekadasi and Dwadasi. So they did this for 1 year. And after 1 year, then Narayan came in their consciousness, or in their dream, and he told them specifically, he showed them this beautiful boy and beautiful girl, and how that boy and girl will manifest in the mind and heart and womb of Yashoda. In the same way that Vasudeva impregnated Devaki. How? Not by sexual union, but by meditation, right? By devotion. He implanted from within his mind and his heart into her womb. These are transcendental birth, right? not ordinary birth. In the same way, Nanda Maharaj had this vision of Krishna due to his austerities of performing Dwadasi Vrat, and he transferred that vision into the heart and womb of Yashoda, and Yashoda into her womb. And so Krishna became manifest in her womb. At that time, an old ascetic woman came to Braj, Purnamasi, and with her was Madhumanga, right? A young Brahmin boy. And they were very happy to see this ascetic dressed in saffron cloth and an elderly woman and this beautiful young boy. And she says, yes, I'm Purnamasi and I've come here to give some benedictions. And this young boy, he's my associate. He has the nature of Narad Rishi. He's Madhumangal is Narad Rishi. Right? So they came there to bless the Brajvasis. Yogamaya has a very special function in Krishna's birth pastimes, his Janma Lila. And our acharyas have unfolded all kinds of beautiful stories about it. So they said, very good. And Purnamasi said, soon a son will be born to your king. And everyone said, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Nanda Yashoda ki. Jai. I'm very happy to hear. She's the first one that gave this announcement. And they said, we're very happy. Now we're going to build you a cottage near the Jamuna. And there you can stay. And you can continue to oversee and bless us here in Braj. So, in due course of time, then when they came, then also Rohini Mata came. And she came on a horse. You know, Vasudev sent Rohini from Mathura to Braj for safety, and that Balaram can be born away from Mathura, because Kansa is so cruel. Kamsa is a madman, and he'll kill any one of Vasudev's sons, whether it's Devaki's son or Rohini's son. He was completely, you know, off the charts. He lost his intelligence. Krishna says in Gita, how we lose our intelligence, right? By contemplating the objects of the senses, we develop attachment for them. From attachment comes desire and lust. From that desire and lust, it transforms into wrath, into anger. That's the opposite side to lust, is anger. From anger comes bewilderment of memory. When the memory is bewildered, we become illusioned, and we fall down into, you know, material existence. So Kamsa is like that. Never trust a person who cannot control their mind or their senses. Even if they're devotee, non-devotee, whoever they are, we cannot trust them. At one minute they'll say one thing, another minute they'll do another thing. Kamsa was like that. So Vasudev sent Rohini on horseback. She was 7 months pregnant with Baladev. And by the arrangement of Yogamaya, then that Hare Krishna. By Baladev took birth about we can say 7 months after that time. 7.5 months. Because Baladev took birth 8 days before Krishna. Right? So the appearance of Purnamasi Devi and Madhumangal in Braj, then about 7.5 months afterwards, then Baladev was born. But when Baladev was born, there was some problem. He didn't like to appear animate. It looked like he was deaf, dumb, and blind, right? Only when they came and put Baladev in Yashoda Maya's lap, and he started to become animated. Right? Missing Krishna. He's Krishna's eternal associate and brother. So very soon now Krishna will appear. So all of this austerity and penance, Yashoda did, Nanda did, manifest into the birth of Krishna in Gokul Mahavan. So I would just want to read a few things about that birth. How are you doing, Nanda? way over my time.
You're pushing the envelope, but go ahead, revisit. Sounds very good. We're very attracted to hear it, so we'll give you a little extra time.
Okay. All right. Because sometimes devotees, they don't hear from Gopal Champu. It's something different. So also, Jiva Goswami has a little different interpretation of the merging of Krishna than Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Very interesting how he explains that. For example, you know, our Gurudev, he explains that when Krishna simultaneously appeared in Kamsa's prison cell, then Vasudeva took, right, baby Krishna. First he appeared in four-arm form, and then he appeared in a two-arm form. Then Vasudeva took that two-arm form of baby Krishna. All the prison cell doors opened up, all the guards fell asleep. He easily walked, even though it was raining. Then Yogamaya arranged for the Jamuna to become calm and parted. She took the form of a jackal and helped Nanda Maharaj come to Gokul Mahavan in that night. You see picture, huh? Yeah, Vasudeva. So Vasudeva's carrying baby Krishna. Ananta Shesh is there with his hoods trying to protect from rain. They cross the Jamuna. It's midnight. At that time, everyone's asleep. Yashoda Mata's asleep, but she had given birth to two children. One is a daughter, Yogamaya. Secondly, the first one was Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur describes that by the potency of Yogamaya, Vasudeva couldn't see the boy. He could only see the girl. It was dark, you know, and Yogamaya also covered his vision. So he simply laid baby Krishna down to become in the foster care, right, of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. And he took the girl back as a ploy to deceive Kamsa, right? Because some child was born, they have to show the 8th child. So he took that girl back. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when Vasudeva put down Mathuresh Krishna, he merged into the body of Prajanananda Krishna. But Jiva Goswami says something different. He says they both appeared at the same time, but by Yogamaya carried baby Krishna across the Jamuna the other way and came to Mathura and merged the two-arm form of Krishna into the four-arm form of Vasudeva Krishna, and then he became the two-arm form of Krishna. And therefore Vasudeva picked up Brajendananda and Shamsundar, two-arm form of Krishna, and went back to Braj and then laid him there where there was no child. Right? So we have to see that Jiva Goswami is saying one thing, Gurudev, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is saying another thing. In any case, Yogamaya is merging the two Krishnas into one. And in both cases, Yashoda Mata gave birth to Krishna in Gokul Mahavan. Right? There's also a controversy about, is there an umbilical cord or is there not an umbilical cord? Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, and Gurudev says there is an umbilical cord. Jiva Goswami says, and you can read the beautiful description, you know, of how a lotus has a stem. A lotus has this stem that grows deep into the mud, into the waters, right? And then this beautiful blue lotus will bloom. But oh, now I see a blue lotus, but there's no stem. There's no umbilical cord. So, different pastimes, different explanations.
Could be a different kalpa.
Could be different kalpas, could be, who knows?
There's always a reconciliation.
Yeah. So, let's read something here. Yeah, that's a good one. So we're going to go back to when Rohini comes to Vrindavan. Jai Jiva Goswami Pada Ki Jai. On that day in the faultless evening, Vasudeva, disturbed by uncontrollable Kansa's anger, sent Rohini favorable to Braj. Riding on a horse, she arrived secretly. She was very faithful to her husband. Just on seeing her, Nanda's assembly became joyful. Auspicious omens, such as flocks of birds flying in the sky, became visible. Yashoda and Rohini, like the Jamuna and the Ganga rivers, became overcome with bliss on meeting and showered bliss on each other and everyone else. They were very, very intimate friends. Understanding that starting with Jeshta month, Rohini was pregnant for 3 months, Yashoda, identifying with her, became most joyful. Then on the night of the first day of the waning phase of Magh month, which would bring all happiness, Yashoda was serving Nanda. In a fatigued state, she saw some worshipful object, as if in a dream. This is what I explained. She saw in her dream a child whose limbs were covered by a celestial maiden, being transferred from Nanda's heart to her heart. So Krishna was covered by who? The celestial maiden is Yogamaya, right? Boy and girl, brother and sister. Then the boy entered into the lotus of the heart, and the girl entered her womb. Nanda for a long time also experienced that the child had entered her heart, but could not explain it. His grief disappeared, and he experienced an indescribable love. So Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta, they're describing in the Nityadam, in Goloka Vrindavan, not this world, there, to Nanda and the assembly of devotees in Vrindavan, every day these beautiful pastimes of Krishna. Because Krishna does not take birth in the Nityadam. But they heard about it, so now they want to hear all the details. And Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta, they were living in Braj previously as the twin Arjuna trees. Their names? Nalakuvera and Manigriva, right? And when they became liberated, then they became Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta. And this is their eternal service in Vrindavan, to glorify Krishna's pastimes, his birth, his killing the demons, all these things. So Snigdhakanta is speaking now to the assembly, thought to himself, it's true, the sages say that these two are the children of Nanda and Yashoda. Considering this thoroughly, I have also come to this conclusion, he said. Then what happened? Madhukanta said, understanding the symptoms in her womb, the excellent woman of the assembly brought auspicious items and made Yashoda, protector of Gokul, happy. When she became pregnant, her face became somewhat pale, the tips of her breasts began to swell, and her belly became enlarged. Just as a lamp in a crystal case shines within and without the case, Krishna shone within Yashoda's womb and illuminated the whole universe. Though Yashoda was very grave by nature, this is one of the qualities of Yashoda. I like reading Gopal Champu because we want to go and live in Goloka Vrindavan. We want to develop some bandha, relationship with all the Brajvasis, right? So, our Goswamis are describing Krishna's birth in Vrindavan, but Veda Vyas and Sukadeva Goswami are describing Krishna's birth in Mathura. Because Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, who's in this family line. Parikshit Maharaj was the son of Uttara and Abhimanyu. And Abhimanyu was the son of Arjuna and Subhadra. And Subhadra is Krishna's sister from Vasudeva and Devaki. Yeah? So, in this way, Sukadeva Goswami wanted to relate Krishna's birth pastimes according to the audience, according to Sukadeva to Parikshit Maharaj, so that they could relate and understand Krishna's birth. But Jiva Goswami is focusing mostly on this Vrindavan pastime. And it's very interesting to hear about the personalities in Vrindavan, like Yashoda. Because if we want to serve Radha and Krishna under the guidance of Srimati Radhika, Lalita, right? We will have a relationship with Yashoda, a very deep relationship. All the young gopis, they're all serving under the guidance of Radharani and the Sakhis, and every day Radharani and the Sakhis are going to Yashoda's house. You know, this is our mother-in-law. This is like our mother-in-law, it's Radhika's mother-in-law. So what is her personality? It's very interesting to hear these things. Yashoda's personality is very grave. But when she became pregnant, her mentality changed. Her appetite also changed. She was very austere. She used to eat very simple. But now she's desiring to eat ladus, kachoris, rice with ghee and tulsi, all these things that Krishna likes. Because the child in the womb, the mothers who have children, they know they get certain urges to eat certain things that they don't normally want to eat. It's because of the child's appetite, what he is desiring, right? So her self-control, Yashoda's self-control became disturbed by greed. She asked for all these items, fragrant rice, soaked with camphor and ghee, sugar, decorated with tulsi, all these things. So then, Yogamaya destroyed the 7-month embryo in Rohini's womb and transferred the 7-month embryo from Devaki's womb into Rohini's womb. By Yogamaya also this happened. And after 14 months of pregnancy in the most auspicious time before Shravan month, during Shravan constellation, Rohini in great joy gave birth to a most beautiful son endowed with all qualities. He was like the full moon endowed with shining whiteness. She was a she-elephant giving birth to an elephant calf endowed with evident prowess. She was a lotus giving birth to a white lotus endowed with pure streams of fragrance. The sun was a mass of good qualities like perfect knowledge which gives auspiciousness to all hearts. So this is the birth of Baladev. Then we'll go down. Some days later, in the 8th month, it was clear that the birth would take place. During the 28th Yuga cycle of Vaivasvata Manvantar at the beginning of Kali Yuga, on the 8th lunar day of the waning moon in Bhadra month on Wednesday, when the moon rose in the faultless Rohini constellation during Harsha Yoga, the perfect Lord, the moon of Krishna, appeared in order to increase the affection of Yashoda and his wife, destroying the darkness of the waning moon. So we're in the waning moon, right? But this is a Monday. A few years back, we had a Wednesday. That's most auspicious because that's the actual day that Krishna was born. The second most auspicious day, they say, is Monday. Krishna is born in the Moon Dynasty, right? So Monday is also very auspicious. So today is a very powerful Janmashtami. So what happened is the Devatas, presiding over all the yugas, carrying gifts, arrived to serve the time of his birth. Though meditation appears in Satya Yuga, right? Sacrifice in Treta Yuga, worship in Dwapara Yuga, chanting in Kali Yuga. Though jasmine normally blooms in spring, though mango appears in what season? In summer. And waters become clear in autumn, after the rainy season. In the West, the waters probably become clear in the summer, because our spring is the rainy season. But in India, the summer, the hot season, is followed by the rainy season, then their fall, right? So as the waters become clear only in autumn, and harvest appears then in winter. Our harvest appears in fall. In India, the harvest appears in winter. Though the kun flower appears in the cold season, though the lotus blooms during the day, though planets give auspiciousness according to the arrangement of the constellation, right? The astrological scriptures, then they're auspicious. And though the Lord appears only by the power of Guru, this is very important. Gurudev has the power to make Krishna appear in our hearts, in our consciousness, in our lives. By the intelligence of Krishna, everything occurred at the same time. So all of the different seasons, they all combined. All of the flowers that bloomed in different seasons, they all started to bloom. All the constellations at different times that were auspicious, they all came at the same time. Right? Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swami Bhagavan Krishna, is appearing in this world. The ocean, the friends of the clouds, roared. As one longs for the autumn season during the monsoon period, on that day the splendor of the autumn also appeared. Then, Krishna's face is being described. His face, when he appeared, was like the king of blue lotuses. His eyes were like the Lord's of central lotus petals surrounded by tiny bees. His nose was like a sesame flower, a bolt tinged like a blue cloud. His lips were red like the hibiscus, more attractive than the bimba fruit or the banduka flower. His ears were black like the sham creeper. His forearms were the foremost branches of the tamal tree endowed with new buds. His chest, marked with the Srivats and the line of Lakshmi, were like the chief of clouds with stationary lightning turning to the right. His face surpasses the Mahapadma. His nose surpasses the Makara. His smile surpasses the Kunda flower. His throat surpasses the conch. His feet surpasses the turtle's back. His complexion surpasses the sapphire, and all his limbs surpass the Karvanidhi. What more can be said? It means the 9 treasures of Kuvera. All these 9 treasures were present at once, since they took birth in Braj to be with Krishna. Jayati te dikam janmana praja rayasa indira shashvaratrani daita drishatam dikshutavaka tvaidrita shabha tvam vichinvate. So Vrindavan became beautified and exceedingly beautiful due to the birth of Krishna. And also Mahalakshmi, Srimati Radharani, she's always there, accompanied by so many goddesses of fortune, unlimited goddesses of fortunes, demigods, great sages, saints, avatars, all the devotees from Krishna's, Narayan's, Vasudev's, all the different incarnations, they all came and took birth to assist in Swami Bhagavan's transcendental pastimes in Vrindavan. So the purpose of Krishna's appearance in Vrindavan is simply to beautify the earth, to perform very sweet pastimes, such pastimes that were never done before, or we say never, but means in a very long time. Krishna is tired of all the majesty, all the worship in awe and reverence. He's thirsting, he's greedy for the love of his friends, the love of his mother and father, especially the love of the gopis. He wants to be chastised by the gopis. He wants to be defeated by his friends. He wants to be bound by his mother. He wants to taste all this type of rasa that he can only taste in Vrindavan Leela. And certain types of pastimes he can't even taste in Goloka Vrindavan. His birth pastime, his young childhood pastimes, no one is going to bind Krishna in the Nityadam. Madhya Yashoda is not binding him. He's eternally 16 years old. Right? He's doing his Astakali Leela with everyone. Yashoda's pleasing him and serving him food and nurturing him and everything. But those young baby pastimes and young childhood pastimes, they're not there in the Nityananda. So Krishna wants to manifest these pastimes. As Maharaj said the other day, Rasik Sekara Krishna Paramakaruna, right? Prem Ras Niryas Korite Ashwadam. So he wants to taste. Krishna is also greedy. He wants to taste these pastimes that he can't taste in Goloka Vrindavan. And he wants to exhibit such pastimes so that the whole world will become enamored. And that sages and saints and sadhus and gurus for many, many eons, every Janmashtami, they'll be describing the glories of Krishna's birth, his pastimes, and like this. So these are some of the reasons. Jiva Goswami's given some hints about his birth. And we spoke a little bit about Devaki and Vasudeva and the birth of Krishna in Mathura. So we should always cover this. It's very nice to hear about the inner meanings of these bhajans, and Maharaj is speaking about another topic, so I wanted to at least touch on some of the birth pastimes both in Mathura and Braj Dham. It's appropriate. Gaur Premanande, Jai Gopal Chandra ki Jai, Guru Swami Pad ki Jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki Jai, Pancha Kalpadru Vishta, Guru one more. No, Nanda says less.
It's been 50 years.
Nanda Baba is the king of Braj. I don't follow him, huh?
Very good. Well, there may be some time for some more. One thing to clarify that you said that these childhood pastimes are not in Nityadam.
Right.
But they are there in the fact that the Braj classes, they just like the demons aren't there, but they also think, oh, Krishna killed a demon. Oh, Krishna went to Mathura.
They're only hearing about the pastime. They're not seeing the
They're
pastime.
not seeing.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, you were saying they weren't there.
They're
They
not
are
there.
there in the sense that they're here. They hear about them.
They're hearing. Yeah. In their mind, they're
In their
there.
mind, so it's
Yeah.
something that they think about.
Yeah.
Anyway, very lovely, very beautiful.
It's such. If you get a chance to read Gopal Champu, it's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful.
So yes, also come more often and do more
Yeah.
reading.
So you're saying that this is actually Krishna's true inner self nature. He wants to just be normal and have like normal existence with his family and friends like this, but he's so tired of being treated like CEO or
Yeah.
boss or
Right.
Aishwarya. And he just wants to be normal, like his true self.
Yes.
Not
This
have
is
to
his
imitate.
Svabhavika. Lokika Sambandhubat. He wants to perform human-like pastimes in a family environment. And how do we even approach that? Only when our Gurudev is a Brajbasi. If our Gurudev is a Brajbasi, you know, Brajbasis are the real preachers, actually. If you have a preacher who's a Brajbasi, then he can express certain moods and certain ways of describing Krishna in such a way that we'll start to understand, appreciate, and develop greed for that, desire for that. So Krishna's nature is to want to be controlled by the love of his devotees. He takes more pleasure in that. And Braj Leela is all about that. Krishna is becoming subservient to his devotees. The first time I ever heard this concept is I was in ISKCON for many, many years. And everything's on reverence. Gurudev's on reverence, the deities are on reverence, right? Rules and regulations, Vaidhi Bhakti to the max. And Gaur Govinda Maharaj comes along and says, oh, Krishna is completely controlled by the love of his devotees. His devotees are so much higher. Radharani is so much higher. All these concepts that Gurudev came and expounded on, Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he planted the seed in many devotees' hearts. But it was like, wow, really? This is so beautiful, so wonderful, this realization. But this is actually Braj. And we need to hear it from a Brajbasi. Once we hear it from a Brajbasi, and we develop a little bit more, then we can repeat it. We can say something, you know, may not be on the same level, but something's there. And so, Krishna's birth is both in Mathura and in Vrindavan, right? We can speak about both, because there's some significance to his birth in Mathura also. The killing of Sadgarbhas, right? Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Then Baladev appeared, Gurudev appeared. purified the womb of Devaki, created a beautiful bed for Krishna to come and lie down on. So this is our process of bhakti. This Janma Lila in Mathura is describing how the sadhaka has to purify the 6 enemies, take shelter of Baladev, Gurudev, then Krishna will appear in our heart. So it's very beautiful. Both pastimes are beautiful. It's not that we only eat sweet, right? You eat sweet, you get diabetes, too much sweet. Rice, chao, dal, sabji, everything, and then the sweet, in the end, is very nice. Then we can appreciate the sweet. But if you start with the sweet and eat more and more sweet and only eat sweet, you know, Krishna's the Lord of sweetness, but
Braj is right on that.
you know, it depends on our condition. If we're totally sweet ourselves, then maybe we can eat sweets all the time. But our condition is not like that. We need to go through some purification. So to hear about Krishna's other pastimes of killing the demons, what the demons represent, they're all obstacles, these demons, to Braj Bhakti. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes each of the demons are 18 obstacles to Braj Bhakti. Beautiful stories and what they do. Gaur Premanandi.
Thank you for bringing up all those good points, and also just to say it's very nice here. You see in New Braj, the parents are very thoughtful in how their children eat, and they must have all of their prashad first, and then at the end they're allowed to have their sweet.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're kind of sneaky, and they may get one in, but the concept is very, very good.
Adults too. Sometimes adults too.
Sometimes adults, okay.
So there's 2 songs I think we need to
So
sing
we're doing
sometime.
Shrita Kamala.
Shrita Kamala.
Yeah, and then Maharaj will give his
Maharaj will
second
give
half of
class.
his
But if we have time to sing Madhurastikam also, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We have time for more bhajan. After Maharaj, just read more bhajan. Yeah.
What time is Abhishek? 11? 11:30? 12?
At 11 we'll start singing off at 11:30, so
Let's
Huh?
go Shrita Kamala now.
between 11:30 and 11:45. So when we're doing Abhishek, we hit midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, we're having Abhishek. We'll start at about 11:45.
Okay.
Okay?
So that's 2 hours.
Yeah. So with Maharaj's class, more songs. We also have a Gurudev video. So very careful.
So now, Shikha Kamala.
Watch the video up here on this wall. Put this picture down on the projector.
Page 352. Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Jaya Shoda Dulala
Did you have some?
Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna
Switch seats.
When do you want to do the video? When do you want to do the video?
Hari Bol Govardhan.
How you doing? Okay? Fasting? Good? I've lost my hunger and thirst now. It was really bad a couple hours ago now. Yeah, also, you? It's very hard in New Braj.
Yeah, because it's dry.
Very hard to do near jaw in New Braj. It's too hot. Anyone else doing near jaw? No? You are?
I took a
You
little,
are.
I took a little water.
That's not near jaw.
I just said, I didn't say I was I
Torah Jal.
Oh. Not easy here.
Just a little bit.
Go stick your head in a bucket of water.
It sounds dry. It's way drier.
It's different.
Yeah, it's like
Sorry for the delay. Computer stuff.
Maybe.
Okay. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Janmastami Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Janmastami Mahamahotsav Titi Ki Jai. The Transcendental Appearance Day of Bhagavan Shri Krishna Chandra Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. So, this is in Mathura, August 31st, 2002. And the other one was 2003 that we read. So, here, the Hari Katha devotees are describing the scene. In the beginning of this morning's class, Srila Gurudev requested Krishna Das Brahmachari to lead the assembled devotees in singing Sri Mangala Geetam, just as we did just now. Jai! And then Gurudev, Sri Krishna himself is actually the only person qualified to hear it. So don't even try. Sri Jayadev Goswami is singing this song to give Krishna Chandra happiness. And he hopes to see him pleased. Then, after the bhajan, Srila Gurudev gave the following elaboration of the verses. So Gurudev begins by saying that when Krishna sees Srimati Radharani looking towards him with sidelong glances, then he loses all his power and he begins to fall to the ground. And at this time Madhumangal notices and he says, "What are you doing? Your mother, your father, and all your relatives are watching. Please control yourself." Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Trita Kundala E. So he's going from the first verse again. There's some specialities. Kalita Lalita Vanamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Krishna Chandra takes shelter of Shrita Kamala. Shrita means shelter, just like Ashrita, Shrita. It means shelter. And here Kamala means who? Radharani. She's called Kamala. Kucha Mandala means that Krishna is taking shelter of the breasts of Radharani. Drita Kundala. Krishna's Kundala, his earrings, they are not ordinary. His Kundala is the glories of Radharani, and he is always wearing that. Kalita Lalita. Lalita means very attractive and beautiful. Here, Lalita refers to Krishna's Vanamala. His garland is made from different kinds of forest flowers. It hangs around his neck and it extends down to his lotus feet. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. All glories to this Krishna who steals all the distress of the living entities. You know, Hari also means one who steals, takes away. So in the vocative case, Hare. So all glories, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare, all glories to this Krishna who steals all the distress of the living entities. And especially, he steals the heart of Srimati Radharani. No one can steal the heart of Radharani except for Krishna Chandra. Dina Mani Mandala Mandana Pavakandana He Muni Janamana Sahangsa Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So generally, Dina Mani means the sun. But here, it means all the universes. India is the topmost place in all the universes, and Sri Braj Bhumi, the topmost place in India, is the crown jewel in all the universes. Can we ask the devotees in the back to tone it down a bit? So, India is the topmost place in all the universes. And Sri Braj Bhumi is the topmost place in India. It is the crown jewel in all the universes. So here, Dinamani means that Braj Mandala, not the sun god, is the crown jewel in all the Vishva mandalas. Then the word bhava, bhava kandana. Bhava means what? You know what bhava means? Material existence. This material existence is called bhava. So, bhava means material existence, and it also means bondage. So he who delivers others from this is called bhavakandana. Now in this connection, is there any material bondage for the Braja Devis, for the gopis in Vrindavan? Is there any material bondage for them? They have none at all. Their only bondage is their feelings of separation from Krishna. Lord Krishna is the only person qualified to remove this bondage of separation from the Braja Devis. So Bhava Kandana means that Krishna can remove the distress of separation of the gopis. That's what Bhava Kandana ultimately means. Then Muni Janamana Sahangsa. It means the great sages, the Munis, right? Especially those who meditated on Bhagavan Sri Krishna for a long time in the Dandakaranya forest. It applies to all the Yotiki Rishis. What are Yotiki Rishis? They're those sages who came to Krishna in a group. And the Ayotiki Rishis, those who came individually, who became gopis in their next birth. So Muni also refers to Sri Shukadev Goswami. And Krishna Chandra is just like the swan who is swimming in the minds of these Munis. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So Jayadev Goswami is singing all glories to this Krishna. So then the next verse is the third shloka. Kaliya Vishadara Ganjana Janaranjanaye Yadukula Nalina Dinesha Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So the general translation of this, third verse, is, O you who pulverize the pride of the venomous snake Kaliya. O you who delight the people of Braja. O sun that makes the lotus of the Yadu dynasty bloom. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So now, Gurudev is giving his deeper level of what is stated here. So, Kaliya Vishadara Ganjana. So this refers to that Krishna who smashes the pride of Kaliya. Krishna easily removed the poison of Kaliya, although he was extremely poisonous, and after doing so, Kaliya became like Amrita, like nectar. So in the same way, Krishna can also smash our what? Anarthas, our unwanted desires. We therefore pray to that Krishna. So Janaranjana in this verse, Janaranjana, Jana means, here means who? Braja Jana, the residents of Braja. Like who? Like Sri Nanda Baba, Srimati Yashodama, and all of Krishna's friends and cows. Jana here especially refers to the Braja Devis, and among them, Srimati Radhika is the most prominent. So Krishna is the only person who gives pleasure to the Vraja Jana. He has no other duty. He is always thinking how to give pleasure to Srimati Radharani. No other duty, only that one. How to give pleasure to Srimati Radharani. Then in this verse it also says, Yadu Kula Nalina Dinesha. So Yadu Kula, it means the dynasty of who? Here, specifically Nanda Baba. The dynasty of Nanda Baba, Yadu Kula. not the dynasty of Mathura. No. Nalina means lotus flower. And here, Nalina especially means the lotus flower of the Vraja dynasty, the Vraja Devis, who are just like the lotus in Braj Mandala. Dinesha. Dinesha means the sun. And here, Dinesha refers to Krishna. He is just like the sun for the lotus flower of Brajabhumi. And when the lotus flowers of Braj Mandala offer themselves to Krishna, they begin to blossom. And therefore, Jayadev Goswami is singing, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. I'm praying to this Hari, who just like the sun, makes the flower like gopis blossom. So then the fourth verse, Madhu Mura Naraka Vinashana Guru Dasana E. Surakula Keli Nidana Jaya 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 Deva Hare. So the general translation, O destroyer of the demons, Madhu, Mura, and Naraka. O you who ride upon Garud and who inspire the demigods, delightful play. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So here it's saying, you who ride upon Garuda and who inspire the demigods, delightful play. But the real deep meaning is quite far from that. He says, Gurudev is saying, Madhu, Mura, and Naraka. They were demons who were killed by Krishna, not really by Krishna himself, but by other Vishnu avatars. So Janmashtami is known to have taken place on the 8th day of the moon. Now listen to this. This is very interesting. I've never heard this before. How Gurudev is describing Ashtami, 8th day of the moon, and how this is applying. So Janmashtami is known to have taken place on the 8th day of the moon. But in reality, the 8th day of the moon is also a full moon day. Now, how is that? That the 8th day of the moon is a full moon day? In other words, the moon is always complete. Only according to our own vision do we see that today is the 8th day of the moon, or the 5th, or the 6th, etc. So although always full, the moon is sometimes covered in part by a shadow, and thus we see only 3/4, half, 1/4, or less. So in the same way, all of the incarnations of Krishna, the Vishnu avatars, they are also Krishna. It is only our vision that makes us see any difference. It is generally understood that Vishnu Tattva kills the demons, not Krishna. But actually, Vishnu is Krishna himself, who is Purna Chandra, the full moon, right? The source of all incarnations. Now, just as the full moon is also always present on the 8th and any other day of the moon, Purna Chandra Shri Krishna is eternally present. In this way, when Lord Vishnu killed the Madhu and Mura demons, Krishna was also there. So here it says, Madhu Mura Vinashana. He who killed Mura and Madhu, he is also Krishna. The verse indicates Shri Krishna. Now coming to Garudasana. Garudasana. So, Garuda Asana. So, generally, Garudasana refers to who? Lord Narayan. Yeah? He whose carrier is Garud. That's Garudasana. But here, Garudasana means Sri Krishna Chandra. Because Krishna once made who? One of his friends became his Garuda carrier. Sridham. Yes. He made Sridham his Garuda carrier. Where did he do that? Do you remember? It's in one place on the Vrajamandala Parikrama that we always would go to, the last place, because it's very near to Vrindavan. Garud Govinda. Yes. And describe what kind of deity is there. On the altar at Garud Govinda, it's like Garuda, who's actually Sridham, and Krishna, not Vishnu, is on his back. They have an actual deity of him there. So Guru Dasana means Krishna Chandra, and Krishna once made Sridham his Garuda carrier. And therefore, Srila Jayadev Goswami is saying Garudasana, meaning again, Sri Krishna Chandra. Yeah, they were playing. Yeah. So, Surakula Keli Nidana. This is the end of that verse. So, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Now, Sura generally means who? The demigods. Sura Asura, right? So generally the meaning of Sura means the demigods. But, and this is a real good one, Krishna's Madhurya pastimes, they are not for the demigods. Not only can't they see these pastimes, they also have no qualification to even hear them, the demigods. Now, Venu Geet of Srimad Bhagavatam explains that the demigoddesses, they have a chance to see something of Braj Leela, but they cannot see completely. Yet even when they saw only the semblance of the pastimes there, they fainted and became unconscious. The demigods, on the other hand, have no qualification to see those pastimes, especially the Madhurya Rasa pastimes. Only those who attain a qualification like Krishna can hear these pastimes. So Keli Nidana, this word, Keli, means those pastimes that are giving pleasure to this type of Sura. So this type of Sura is who? The Brijvasis, the Gopis, and all, and Krishna himself. So now comes the 5th shloka. Amala Kamala Dala Lochana Bhavamochana E. Tribhuvana Bhavana Nidana Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So here's the general translation. O you, whose wide eyes resemble the petals of an immaculate lotus. O you, who bestow emancipation from material existence and who are the foundation of the 3 worlds. Tribhuvana Bhavana Nidana. Tribhuvana means like the 3 worlds. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So, here in this verse, Amala Kamala Dalalochana. Amala means without any spots or blemishes. And Kamala means lotus flower. Lord Krishna's eyes are just like the petals of a spotless lotus flower. Tribhuvana Bhavana Nidhana. Now, Tribhuvana here means Brajabhumi. Bhuvana, Tribhuvana, actually Vrajabhumi it means. Which is the essence of all the 3 worlds. Krishna is the only shelter of Brajabhumi and of the Brijvasis. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare, I offer my obeisances to this Hari, who is the shelter of all the Brajavasis. So you can see, each and every verse, Gurudev has brought it to the Brajavasis, to the Brajagopis, to Krishna, to Radhika, like this, each and every verse. And it's a fact. That's the true meaning of this, what Gurudev is giving. So, because I used to think about this, when Gurudev would always call for this song to be sung. And, you know, the general translation of the different verses is even talking about Ravana, 10-headed Ravana. But wait till we get to that one.
Where did this translation come from?
Which one?
The English translation that we have.
Oh, this is in our songbook. It's like, you know, Madhukar translated, and it is the general translation. is the general translation. But all the songs in our songbook, Madhukar Prabhu, the son of Rishabdev, he went over all of these, and especially with Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj, before he left the planet. He spent much time with him in Puri and went over most of the songs in our songbook. So, but anyway, you know, like in our songbook, we've always had kind of like a general translation like this. And I used to think, this song is for Krishna, Jai Jai Deva Hari, but it's talking about a different incarnation. It's talking about, you know, how Ram killed Ravana, the 10-headed such and such. That's actually the next verse, right? So, but by hearing this, how Gurudev is explaining, everything is Krishna in Braj.
We can have a new translation based on this concept.
We could. But then we wouldn't have the fun to see how Gurudev is really illuminating the general translation. All right, so now the 6th verse. Janaka Sutta Krita Bhushana Jita Dushana E Samara Shamita Dashakanta Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. General translation, O you who are decorated by the daughter of King Janak, Sita Devi, right? Because Janaka Sutta means the daughter of Janak, okay? You who are decorated by the daughter of King Janak, Sita Devi, O you who defeated the demon Dushana and who killed the 10-headed Ravana in battle. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Ki Jai. Now, Gurudev is explaining the general meaning of Janaka Sutta is the daughter of King Janak, Sita Devi, the consort of Lord Ramachandra. Now, in the pastimes of Ramachandra, Janaka Sutta is decorating Ram with many kinds of paraphernalia. Now, this can also be applied to Sri Krishna's and Radharani's pastimes. Sometimes Srimati Radharani decorates Krishna in the forest. Janak also means father. Janak also means father, does it not? Yes. So, therefore Janaka Sutta in this connection means the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu Baba. Because father. So Gurudev is not, because Janak means father also. The word Janak, but it also means King Janak. So Gurudev is saying here that this can also be applied to Sri Krishna and Radharani's pastimes. Sometimes Srimati Radharani decorates Krishna in the forest, and the word Janak also means father. So therefore, Janaka Sutta in this connection means the daughter of Sri Vrishabhanu Baba. So Janaka Sutta Krita Bhushana. So Bhushana means decoration. Krishna is decorated by the daughter of Vrishabhanu Baba. Then the term Jitadushana in this verse. Jitadushana means he who defeated the demon Kala Dushana. Jitadushana also means those things that are very bad. Dushana also refers to things that are bad, right? So, yes. So, like the things that are bad, like the very intense separation of the Vraja Devis. This is, in our vision, very bad. They're feeling this separation, right? So Hari, Krishna, removes this. So I offer my obeisances unto that Hari. Then he comes to the line, Samara Shamita Dashakanta. So Nandalala, the darling son of Nanda Baba, he defeats Dashakanta, many demons. So Jayadev Goswami is saying that this Nandalala is killing all the demons in Braj. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. I offer my obeisances unto lotus feet of that Hari. So that's the 6th. Now the 7th verse. Abhinava Jaladhara Sundara Drita Mandara E Shri Mukha Chandra Chakora Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. O you whose complexion is lustrous like a fresh rain cloud. O you who hold the Mandara mountain and who are the Chakora bird incessantly attached to the moon-like face of Sri Radha. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So Abhinava, it means very new, very new. And Jaladhara means that the newly formed cloud is appearing in the sky, and it is very soft, glistening, pleasing, and attractive. Krishna's complexion is like this Nava Jaladhara. Then Drita Mandara, Mandara here doesn't refer to the Mandara Parvat, one of the largest mountains in the universe, the mountain of the demigods. It's also called Mandara. So here he's saying, no, it doesn't refer to that. It means Giri Govardhan. Then, in one way, it can also be understood that Mandara means the 2 Giriraj Govardhans of Srimati Radhika, upon which Krishna takes shelter. And then Gurudev says, the elevated ideas in this connection cannot actually be expressed, but we can understand them by our bhajan. Then Sri Mukha Chandra Chakora. Here, Sri Mukha refers to Srimati Radharani, Sri, whose lotus face is just like the moon. And Sri Krishna always hankers to have darshan of that moon. And just like the Chakora bird, Krishna is always also one-pointed. So the Chakora bird, you all know about the Chakora bird? What does the Chakora bird do?
Only takes water from the clouds.
That's a different bird. That's the Chataka bird. The Chakora bird exists with what? Moon rays. Chandra Chakora. Okay? So, just like the Chakora bird, Krishna is always one-pointed. The Chakora bird will only drink water that comes directly from rain. Well, it's saying like that. Not from any pond. I'll show you in Srila Maharaj's bird, Chataka, not Chakora. Anyway, it could be both. All right, so the Chakora bird, Krishna is one-pointed like the Chakora bird. The Chakora bird will only drink water that comes directly from rain, not from any pond or ocean or river. Now, in the same way, Sri Krishna, he is always hankering to drink the nectar of the lotus face of Hare Krishna. Now comes the 8th verse. Tava charane pranata vayam iti bhavayae kuru kushalam pranateshu jaya jaya deva hare. O Lord, we have taken exclusive refuge at your lotus feet. Please bestow auspiciousness upon your surrendered servants by blessing us with praying bhakti. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So here, Jayadev Goswami, who is most merciful and a very rasik Vaishnava within our Sampradaya, he is saying, Tava charane pranata vayam. Here vayam is plural. The Jayadev Goswami alone is writing this song, but he is including us within his prayer to Krishna. And he is saying, oh, please be merciful. We, himself and all of us, we are now taking shelter at your lotus feet. We are now your surrendered souls. So the word kushala, tabacharane pranata, kuru kushalam pranateshu. The word kushala means welfare, auspiciousness, benefit, kushala. What is the real welfare? Sri Jayadev Goswami is praying, oh please make me the maidservant of Srimati Radharani. This is welfare. Kuru kushalam pranateshu. Please, we are taking your shelter. We are remembering your lotus feet. Therefore, please make us the maidservants of Srimati Radharani. And Sri Jayadev Goswami, he's uttering Jaya Jaya Deva Hare 3 times, so that Krishna will listen to his prayer. That's why. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. The position of the maidservant of Srimati Radharani is topmost. What does that mean? The position of the maidservant of Srimati Radharani is topmost. How is it topmost? For whom? Us. Who is us? The what? It's us, the jivas. There is no position higher than that. So, and Lord Krishna himself, he wants to serve her as her maidservant. Krishna himself. So although it is the topmost position, but still Jayadev Goswami is appealing 3 times so that Krishna will accept his prayer. And he indicates, it is for this purpose that I offer my pranam unto the lotus feet of that Hari. So the 8th shloka, which is really the end of this, is an ashtakam, and he's telling the highest kushalam, the highest possible benefit that can be attained, to serve the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. So then the last verse is like a refrain, and he says, Sri Jaya Deva Kaveridam Kurute Mudam Mangalam Ujvala Gitam Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. May this radiant and auspicious song, composed by Sri Jayadev, increase happiness. And then in brackets, increase happiness for you and for your devotees who hear and recite it. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So Sri Jayadev Goswami, he is praying to Krishna Bhagavan. He's saying to him, only you are qualified to listen to this song, O Krishna Bhagavan. No one other than you is qualified to listen to this type of glorification of Srimati Radharani. And therefore I'm writing for you. I pray that you will become pleased by hearing it. What happened to Krishna when Krishna heard this song? His ears stood up just like the ears of a calf or a cow, taking the form of cups. This song only meant for Krishna. It is the only real offering of prayer of glorification to him. He becomes very pleased when his devotees sing this song. He will be pleased when you worship she who is dearest to him. Sri Sri Radha Krishna's exalted pastimes are explained in the book called Ujjvala Nilamani, written by who? Sri Rupa Goswami. And their exalted pastimes are explained in other scriptures by the Goswamis. If we offer our prayers to pastimes such as Sri Krishna offering his head at the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, he will become very pleased. That's why we have our Seva Kunj painting, because Krishna is telling Srimati Radhika that very thing. please place your lotus feet on my head. And he's ready to place his lotus feet at his head at the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika in that painting. So Srila Gurudev, he spoke this lecture mostly in Hindi, and then every few minutes he called on Uttam Das Brahmachari to translate his words into English. So this is our narration and reading of Srila Gurudev's 2 lectures on Janmashtami in 2 separate years, where he glorified this song, Mangalam Gita. And I think that after hearing this, for the rest of our lives, we'll have a slightly another impression. We'll have to remind ourselves every year, because the nature of Kali Yuga is memory loss. So we have to remind ourselves every year, but really what Gurudev is pointing out here, this is the true purport of this incredible song written by Jayadev Goswami, which is included in his entire book called Gita Govinda, which Gurudev has also given to the whole world. So on this Janmashtami day, we're praying to Krishna, Radha and Krishna, that they'll be pleased with us, that we also sang this song and listened to Gurudev's explanation. You had some...
You were mentioning he prayed 3 times?
Yeah. Because when you sing the song, you're saying it actually 3 times. In certain melodies, Jaya Jaya Dev, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. But also Jaya, Jaya, and then Hari, Deva Hari. So, and it also, as we read, Jaya, and then the second Jaya can be Jaya Dev. Jaya Dev is mentioning his own name in this regards, to try to please that Krishna, that Hari, Hare. Like that. Yeah.
What is he referring to triumph over?
To what?
To triumph over? Like, what is he referring to when he says Jai?
Oh, triumphant, triumphant.
Triumphant over?
Yes. Well, he explained in the song, triumphant over all of our bad qualities. Victorious personality, always triumphant. Gaur Premanande Vansha Kalpajarupascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Get the video going now, we'll have more bhajans after, so 15 minutes.
Two, 9, 3.
Fast. 290.
way? Two? Priya. Can you sing this? All together, yeah, but let's get us started.
Maduram Maduradipate Maduram
Sai Gaur Premanandi. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai. Gaur Premanandi.
The mic will reach us.
Yes.
Make some warm.
Is everybody feeling good?
Yeah.
Live.
Hey, Dharma.
We're on a countdown now.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. How's everybody doing?
How we doing?
All right. So we have some very interesting video clips here of Srila Gurudev. And the first one, the portion of this lecture, this, by the way, is Srila Gurudev in New Braj here in 1997. And this first portion gives a very good explanation also of the appearance of Lord Krishna in Dwarka and his birth in Gokul. And it's very good timing to hear that, especially after we heard the nice discourse from Srimad Radhakanta Puri and those different explanations coming from Jiva Goswami and from Srila Gurudev. So we're going to get that started, and then later we'll have some childhood pastimes.
Yesterday I told about the reasons, the causes of Krishna coming. Why Krishna came? For bad things. He came in the jail of Kans, on the womb of Devaki, as a Vasudev, and in the same night, same time, he came in the womb of Yashoda, from the womb of Yashoda Devi. But it was so hidden. There are so many explanations that Yashoda Devi has given birth of Krishna. It has been told that Krishna always lives in Mathura, and also at the same time it has been written, Vrindavanam parityajya padamekam na gacchami. In any case, in any way, I cannot leave Vrindavan for a moment. And in the also we see that he always lives in Vrindavan. He also lives in Dwarka, never lives Dwarka. We'll have to reconcile. How? Jashodanandan, the Brajesh Nandan, always being in Vrindavan. So when Krishna was in Mathura, he came 400. It means that he was like Narayan, having so much affluence. When Devaki and Vasudeva prayed Krishna that he should be like a child, otherwise Kans will come and he may kill you, thinking that, oh, he is Vishnu. As that year, Krishna smiled and became a child. How he became? The boy who has taken birth from the womb of Jashoda, he came and took this 400 in him, and both were mixed. Aishwarya Krishna mixed in Madhurya Krishna. But an argument may come that Vrindavan Krishna, he never lived. There is the boundaries of Vrindavan. Yes. Then it has been also stated like this, or Goswamis has written. Then when Vasudeva take 400 Krishna and he became child. Sometimes in Mathura and Dwarka, 400, sometimes in 200. So when he became like 200, Vasudeva took him, and when he came in the midst of Jamuna, that is the border of Gokul, Vrindavan and Mathura. From there in Jamuna he took his feet to Jamuna. Jamuna was flowing, and the water came like this to Vasudeva, Krishna, and he took Krishna on his head, on a basket. Krishna took his feet from the basket, lowered down, and it was touched to Jamuna. Jamuna was subsided. At that time, Vasudevanandan, through Jamuna, he was there in Mathura. And that Gokul, Krishna, that is the son of Jashoda, from there he went with Vasudevji in his basket. Vasudevanandan cannot go cross that towards Vrindavan. So anyone could not saw, but reality was this. From there he went to Gokul and he slept there, and he took the baby and returned to. This is more applicable. Why? When Akrura took Baldev and Ramnandagaon, Braj, he came to Jamuna, near Jamuna. In Jamuna, there was a Brahma Hrada, a part of Jamuna. And it was now evening. So he kept Krishna Balram on the chariot, and he went to take bath and to do Anhik Sandhya. So when he was taking bath, he drowned in the Jamuna Hrada. At once they came there. Who? Devakinandan, Ram and Krishna from Mathura, there in the midway of Jamuna, because she is the borderline. And Jashodanandan Krishna and Rohinandan Ram, always living in Vrindavan, they returned from there. They disappeared. Akrura could not think that how it became. He saw that Krishna Baldev is here, and he was saying that he is there also. How it became? They could not reconcile anything. He began to pray like this. Krishna Jashodanandan returned from there, and Krishna and Baldev of Devaki Vasudev, they returned to Mathura. So it is very more applicable. Understand my view? This is the view of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur he has given. So, always eternally, Krishna is the son of Nanda and Yashoda, and eternally son of Vasudev and Devaki, but partly and fully. Where fully? In Gokul. And partly because Narayan is the Vaibhav of Krishna. Understand? Is Vaibhav.
Expansion with a slight change.
Yes, slight change. So,
No, we don't have it here. They don't have it here yet.
Don't have 5G, sorry.
5G, it's high speed.
Is it my down?
5G. So we just have to wait.
Can we get one?
What's your
Braj
phone?
on? Yes, yeah, one song, please.
Jai Jai Sundar Nanda.
Hans Kari. Hans.
Can everybody see the book?
If you could hear something, I could scare you easier. If you could hear anything, I could scare you easier.
Jai Jaya
Can we try your phone, Can we try your phone for the hotspot? Can we try your phone for the hotspot?
I'm filming.
Anyone can take fruit. There is a nature of them that if you take pull him, they will go down. Opposite. He entered in that thorns.
Okay, that's good.
And when he entered, the thorns came down, and there was no way out to come out. He took these flowers, but now he was weeping. Mother. I thought just like so that his boy is trapped, and there is no way. He began to chastise Krishna. I will not take you. Why you did so? But Krishna was telling mother, and weeping tears were coming. Anyhow, she took that and took Krishna in his. Sometimes playing with weapons, sword and everything. Sometimes with serpents, snakes. They are giving their hands in the form of goods and anything. Dogs, right? Big dogs. Playing with them. So dangerous. Once, Yasodama told that, bring a calf, very beautiful calf, today is your birthday. Krishna went and he catch hold of any friend calf. Calf was so beautiful, very strong. Krishna catch hold of his neck and wanted to draw. But there is a nature of them that if you pull him, they will go down. Otherwise, opposite. And if you do like this, they will come up. So Krishna was taking that calf to her mother, and he was not coming like this. Anyhow, he brought to his nearer to his home, and Krishna saw that a butter pot was hanging there. He forgot everything, and water came from his mouth, and very greatly he was saying how to take it, but calf was in his hand. At once he stopped the calf and wanted to ride, to keep his fish there. When he did that, and he caught hold of the pot, at once the calf ran, and he was hanging. Mother. Yashoda came with angry. What you did? Why you are hanging on this? Thief. I will never get down from that. You should hang properly. Mother, and tears were coming. You were not imitating. And some gopis also, they were clapping. When Krishna became weeping, then you should not do further. Be careful for future. Otherwise, I will not take you. So Krishna is this time. Sometimes, that a fruit seller, any low cost of lady came, and telling, anyone can take fruit, mango, orange, plantains, pineapple, pineapples, and any all. In India, it is system I don't know here. So door to door she was going and shouting. He heard anything like that. There is a very beautiful boy of Yashoda. So beautiful, rare. She wanted to see that boy. But when he used to go to Nanda Bhavan, Krishna at that time sleeping. Farman, he has gone in paradise. with his father taking his life. She came repeatedly, twice, thrice, 4 times, but she could not show Krishna. At last one day, Krishna was playing in the lap of Jashoda, and this Haldi carrying fruit seller, taking his basket full of fruits. She was calling. Anyone can take fruit, and she at last forget this fruit. Govinda, Damodar, Madhav, Govinda, Damodar, Madhaveti, Govinda, Damodar, Madhaveti, Govinda, Damodar, Madhaveti, Govinda, Damodar, Madhaveti. She was thinking that I am so wretched, I cannot have a person of that boy. But today I will have a person. So he forget everything. She kept his basket there in front of Nanda Bhavan, in front of me. And she began to cry. Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Krishna was playing in the lap of Jashoda. At once he heard this. He cannot stay there. Where there is Sankirtan, he must go there. Where Krishna lives, Naham pasami vaikunthe, yoginam hridena cha, madhbhakka jatra gayante, tatra tisthami narada. I don't live in Vaikuntha. Never in the heart of anybody. Where there is going Sankirtan, so sweet. I live there only. Where the sadhus, Vaishnavas are doing kirtan. I think Krishna must anyhow, in any shape is here. And hearing all the kirtans and all things here, his pastimes, and he becomes so happy here. So he could not remain there. He went from Jashoda lap and went and took some corns, wheat in his hand. Very little, this palms like this. And he did like so. He took so much, but everything. Only some were there here. No? And he was thinking that I am taking so much. He went there. Out of door he saw a fruit seller. Any woman was there. She was blackish. She was of low cost. He went nearer and told that, oh, take these corns. He was quite naked. Only golden chain was here. Very beautiful looking. If Krishna has taken any ornaments and very, very good. But if he has not taken anything, he has some dots of ink or anything, any dust, all more beautiful he will like. So he was naked, has some golden chain, nothing. Only this was tightened here, and some more punk was there. So looking beautiful. So went to that. Oh, give me fruits and take this. There was nothing, only 2 or 4 wheat grains, and he told like this, give me. She was watching, looking. So beautiful Krishna. He never has seen any beauty before this. She saw up, down to wow, everything. And he was so much observed. She told, if you want to take fruits? Yes, yes. I want that. You should tell me mother. And then I will give you. Otherwise not. This person look here. People not any is there here mother and and you will have to tell me mother and to be in my lap, then I will give you. Otherwise not. so much. But by only 1-2 fruits, one banana or only mango, 1, 2, 3, and it was full. Then he took like this, and he took some of them. Now he is very gladly smiling, laughing, he is returning to his mother. He gave all these things in the well of her mother, and her mother began to distribute to all. There were hundreds of gopis there. She distributed and it never came to end, but never finished. What was this distribution? More coming, more coming. What became of that fruit seller? After that, Krishna went and he took his heart. Krishna never returned it. So without mind seed and heart seed was there for so many times, 1 hour, like a mad person. And after that, anyhow, she took his basket here. And she was returned. When she came to the bank of Yamuna, he saw that so heavy this basket is. Then before, he took out his basket and saw that it was full of jewels. So many jewels. She wondered how did they come. At once, she took all the jewels with his basket, her basket, and fell in Yamuna. And Govinda Damo Dharamaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamaveti. She had no heart, no mind, and nothing. Where she went, she went. Anyone could not see. Where she went? Anyone could not see. His husband and all searching her. But Krishna managed to send him her Guru. So never anyone can search. So we will have to be like fruit seller if you want to be like Govinda Damo Dharamaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamaveti. Dukkale Sanghatan Dulansya Sanghantayanto Musalai Pramudha Gayanti Gopyo Januta Anuraga Govinda Govind, all the gopis were clearing wheat and rice by musal, you know, in water. They don't talk anything. What they do? With so much love and affection. Govinda Damo Dharamaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamaveti. They are cleaning house by broom. They are doing right. But what they are telling? Govinda Damo sons kept in swing, and doing like thap. Oh, you should sleep, not telling this, what they are doing, like this doing, but Govinda Damo their husbands. But what they are telling? wrote him, in the morning, their boys are weeping, and they getting their breasts in the mouth of their children. Today, one asked me, we are householder, how to do in houses, how to practice, practice, how to deal with our members and doing all these things, because you are householder, you are married with wives and children. Or for them, I'm telling you, go do what? You do anything, but like Govinda, do anyone. Always remembering the pastimes of Krishna. There are some parrots in the case. I'm telling to that parrot, oh, you should tell like this, Govinda. This is the truth of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, to be like gopis and gops. And if you are hearing and not doing like this, what should we do in family? How to deal with them? Anything is not bad. Wealth is not bad. Father, mother, children's wife is not bad. Only the cultivation, only the what to deal with them is bad and good. If I are using them in Krishna Bhajan, then it is so good. It will be helpful. And if you are thinking, oh, this beautiful lady is my wife, I am master of that lady, then it will be nonsense. I'm a very big sannyasi, then you will laugh. After 2 days you will fall down. Don't have a false ego like this. Anything. You should think everything is for Krishna. This beautiful hill, mountain, the children, wives, are all Krishna Bhogya, Krishna's enjoyment, not for me. And thus this world will be like Guru. So always this should do what? Govinda. Katha was going. Remember this, and always see me here with all devotees. Like Krishna is here, Jasoda Maya is here, all Brajvasi is here. This is new Braj. Same as Braj. Don't forget me. Always see like this. So beautiful. This is beginning. I will have to tell so many things. Oh, more sweet, more sweeter. So today, here, go Praman. Nice, enjoy, so good. Drums and singing. You can find that now. No delay.
Pura and Balaram was with them, and they came to that spot in the Jamuna. At that place, Rohini Nandan and Yashoda Nandan, they returned. From that point, then, you know, Vasudev Krishna, Mathura Krishna, and Baladev, then they continued on.
But I had always heard that Vasudev Krishna came all the way to Braj, and Vasudev set him down and emerged into the body, with Gurudev saying, no, it happened in the Jamuna.
In the Jamuna, he changed.
Halfway point.
Yes, at the halfway point in the Jamuna, he said Krishna was in a basket and his feet came down and touched the Jamuna at that midpoint, and there he became.
And Yogamaya
Yes.
brought Krishna, Prajanananda and Krishna to merge into Vasudeva Krishna at the halfway point. You follow that?
I follow. I'm not sure I heard that, but I follow that.
He said
No.
that they merged at the midway
At the
point.
midway point, but he still then brought the baby, but it's also said
Because he said Vasudeva Krishna can't come to Nanda Gokul, right?
and
So therefore Vasudeva couldn't have brought Vasudeva Krishna all the way to Nanda.
Rajendra Nanda and Krishna can't never leave Vrindavan. So, but still, it's described though, that Gurudev described that when Vasudeva brought this baby, he put it on the bed and there it merged into the body of Krishna.
I've heard that said before, but that's
That's
not what he said in the
completely
video
described.
tonight.
So,
He said they merged
again, we'll
into
need
the
further reconciliation. But the main point is, Gurudev says, do you understand my conception, my idea is that, Krishna did not come to the jail cell and there merge. And he gave that example that Dwarka Krishna, sometimes has 4 hands, sometimes has 2. So no problem that he could reduce to 2 hands. Anyway, so much good Katha, so much to think and reconcile and hear from the lotus lips of Srila Gurudev. He brings that mercy to us and he wants us to learn from this. So the other beautiful thing in this class that's very relevant, and it's actually like a quiz question. We can have one quiz question, but that this conception of the fruit seller, there was something very relevant in what she was able to accomplish. And Gurudev explained that she was going around calling out, follow, follow, bring, fruit, telling everyone to have fruit.
Fruit for sale.
Fruit for sale. Gurudev said, he goes, I don't know what it's like here, but there, this is what it's like. People go around with the fruit. So she went around 3-4 times, but Krishna wasn't coming out.
Oh, no.
And she gave this, Gurudev gave this example that, Krishna was maybe sleeping, resting, things were going on. But she was so, determined that she had to have this. She came up with a conception on this last day. Who knows what that conception was? Yes, Radha Priya, thank you very much. Do or die. Gurudev gave that, and he used that many times in his preaching, this conception to take up this Krishna conscious movement, to become serious about our bhakti. We should think, do or die. If I do, then I'll get Krishna. If I don't, I will die.
Krishna likes cliffhangers.
Krishna likes cliffhangers. Anyway, there's always a tatastya, an area in between. We should never give up. If we can't do it all, then we may die, but we can try. Continue to try, not to die. But there was another very nice point in this also. It was described, I heard one time, that Gurudev was saying how Krishna's hands were so tiny. And he knew that in India, they always want something. Generally, someone's a walla, right? A fruit walla, you're going to have to give something. So Krishna was very intelligent. He went and grabbed some grains. And he put them in his hands. And, his hands were open. It said like the grain was falling out. But I also heard that, Krishna was holding these grains. And these grains were thinking, because everything in Braj is alive. Everything has, some consciousness. Nothing is in Braj without being there for a reason. Personality. And these grains were thinking, I've done so much austerity for so many lives, and I've finally achieved Braj. I'm in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj in Yashoda. And I'm here with Krishna. But now Krishna's picking me up, and he's going to take me out, and it's going to go to this fruit seller, and she's going to take them back to Mathura. So these grains were, they didn't want to, they were jumping out. That's another, conception. Also, Giriraj Govardhan, we have Anakutma Mahotsav, and it's described, I was telling Gaur Krishna Prabhu this, and it's described in one thing I read recently, is that Giriraj's teeth were like very, big teeth with spaces between them. And he was taking so much prasadam, but some of the prasad was coming out between his teeth, and therefore he was still very hungry, calling, "Honore, honore, bring me more." So we were trying to figure out how to act that out, because it's a very sweet pastime thinking about that. Prasad coming out of Paul's teeth. So the grains were jumping out of Krishna's hands because they didn't want to leave. When Krishna got there, he had still just a few grains. But the fruit seller, when she saw Krishna, she became she had heard. She was not there just out of her own whim. She had heard people told her there's this most beautiful, beautiful boy. And he's in Vrindavan. And anyone who sees him goes mad. But still, he's so beautiful, one can't help this desire to see him. So she, because of hearing, this is another very important point to understand, of us coming to Krishna consciousness, of us telling other people about Krishna consciousness. We should be able to tell someone, oh, there's this beautiful boy, this beautiful, charming boy, and he can steal your heart once you see him. And we can tell them the philosophy, so many things. We can bring them to Gurudev. And so just by hearing, this fruit seller also in that same process, she had this strong desire to see Krishna. And every day it became stronger and stronger, going around calling fruits, fruits, just with the object, aim and object to see Krishna. And when Krishna couldn't be seen, she became so despondent. She came to the point, this is it. I've reached my limit. What is Gurudev Swami has that quote? The last limit of bhakti. So, Bhakti Naipunya, the last limit. So she was at that last limit. I must today see Krishna. I will do it or I will die. So when Krishna came out, then she was so happy to see him. She made her conditions. Krishna was very sneaky and tricky, looking around very carefully. He knew that it would not be the proper etiquette to do that, but he was so greedy for those fruits, those beautiful mangoes, papayas. Gurudev said plantain. Mother Maharaj said pineapple. That Krishna, and he said, he jumped in her lap very quickly, looked up at her mother, boom, and jumped out just as fast. And then she loaded up his hands. And then the explanation was, Krishna had such tiny, tiny hands. But yet all these big mangoes were in there. And they were going to fall out. They seemed like they were going to fall out. But the complete opposite of the grains, the mangoes were thinking, oh, I've spent so many lives of austerity to come to this point. And I'm just about to come into the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj and be with Krishna and Yashoda. I can't fall out. So they were like hanging on for dear life to Krishna's hands. And then Krishna took them in, and these were very special mangoes that Mother Yashoda took them, and she distributed, like Gurudev said, hundreds and hundreds of gopis were there, but the mangoes never ran out. So this is Krishna's unlimited love and affection to the devotees, and what he is more than capable of giving. And so here we are, the lucky recipients of this mercy of Krishna. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So after years and years, thousands and millions of years of wandering through these universes, by the mercy combined of Guru and Krishna, we have gotten a chance to be in this line and to get this mercy. This is combined mercy. We have to make some effort, but at the same time, we need that mercy. And Srila Gurudev always gave that example. Who knows that example of the monkeys and the cats with the children? Vyasadeva? Huh? Ram? Come on. Come, please. This conception of mercy and also your own effort.
Yeah, well, I cannot tell it like devotees more advanced, but the monkey needs to grab very firmly to the mother, otherwise she will keep jumping and he will fall down and will be his end. So in that way we should always pray for the mercy of Hariguru Vaishnavas, and the kitten doesn't do anything. He's only crying, and the mother comes always to take care of him. So that means the
cat?
Oh, sorry, that's the crying for the mercy, and the monkey is our sadhana. Our sadhana is, we should be very strong in our sadhana. So that's how we hold from Gurudev's feet.
And the example of the cat. So with a cat, even like with a lion or tiger, they will pick up the baby in their mouth and their teeth. Even though their teeth are so sharp, they could tear anything apart, but they can very gently but firmly pick up their baby kitten and carry it. So that's like mercy. But it can't be all mercy. Gurudev always says you have to make some effort. If you think you're just going to get carried, you're going to carry yourself away into illusion. Huh? 2 fingers. Yes, thank you. Okay, we just have a couple of minutes left here, but I was thinking about that pastime and how important it is. This conception of 2 fingers. That you have to make an effort, but you have to have mercy. And one of Krishna's most sweet, darling pastimes is Sri Damodar Leela. And when Krishna's just a little boy, I have to tell this very briefly, because it's such a long story. But I bet you Guranga knows it. Krishna, he wakes up one morning, and his mother's not there. And he goes to find her, and she's churning yogurt. But Krishna's very hungry. So he jumps up on her lap, and she begins to feed him breast milk. And Krishna's very satisfied. He's very happy. He's in the perfect position. But just as it seems to be, that milk begins to boil over. And that milk is feeling neglected. That milk is also similar to the rice and the mangoes. That milk is thinking, I've done so much austerity to be here, and now I'm about to boil over, and I'm going to get wasted, and where am I going to go? So that milk is boiling over, and Yashoda Mata sees it. So she immediately decides, oh, I have to save this milk. What's more important? Her nursing Krishna or saving the milk that's about to boil over? Kishore? The milk, yes, why?
Because it's going to be used in Krishna's service.
Yes, because that milk is going to be used in Krishna's service. So she takes Krishna with one hand and pulls him off her breast and puts him down on the ground. And Krishna becomes quite angry.
She's already serving Krishna. She's already serving Krishna. Breastfeeding Krishna. You're saying that the milk can be used in Krishna's service, but she's already serving Krishna. So why is she stopping the service for Krishna? Compassion. She's stopping the service for Krishna so later she can serve Krishna? That doesn't make sense.
She's very compassionate, and she's also being compassionate to the milk. Nothing should go to waste. And
what about compassionate to Krishna? Krishna's crying.
She does that every day.
He needs more than just breast milk. He needs other nutrition.
Yes, other nutrition. So, anyway, we'll continue with the story. This can be a good, point for further discussion afterwards. Thank you.
Is like, it's all lila. It's all for the pastime, for the Lord.
It's all for, yes.
Like I was listening to this story. Sorry, I'm just taking.
No, good. Please come.
I was listening to this story of how I don't even know what I'm saying. Like how Putana came into Braj, right? And then Jiva Goswami says in the commentary, how is it that she came? Like she's an evil demon. She's not allowed to be there. Like why was she allowed to be there? Even Rohini Mata was like, oh no problem. Like yes, let her go and breastfeed Krishna. But it says that no demons go into Vrindavan. No demons can't go in there. And then the reconciliation that Jiva Goswami says in his commentary, he says this was because Yoga Maya allowed it to happen in order to fulfill the pastime of Krishna. Because in order for pastimes to develop, there has to be ras churn, there has to be things happening, there has to be acting.
There has to be churning, like
So
churning
eventually-
the butter. They're turning the milk.
That's what came to my mind.
Yeah. There's also another point. That's very good, Prabhu. Thank you. That is a very good reconciliation. Another one is that in Brajadam, right, in Goloka Vrindavan, no demon can come in. But this is Boma Lila. So also in Boma Lila, the demons are part of the Lila, so they have to be able to come in. But by Yogamaya allowing this, they are allowed to come in, and then of course Lord Vishnu kills them. But you will never see a demon in Goloka Vrindavan. You will hear about them. Oh, Krishna did this, but you won't see them. But in this Leela here, in Boma Vrindavan, the demon came. So anyway, back to this point, we have 5 minutes. And so how is it that Mother Yashoda was able to pull Krishna from her breast so easily? Just recently, Krishna, speaking of Putana, thank you for bringing her up, Krishna was sucking the breast of Putana, and she has the power of 10,000 elephants. She even fought with Kamsa. She fought with Kamsa, and he also has the strength of 10,000 elephants. And they had a battle, and nobody could win. He couldn't defeat her. And what is a thing of diplomacy? If you can't defeat someone, what do? One thing you can do is offer them a position. So he offered Putin a position. You will be my ally. Make an employee. No, she became an ally because she was he was actually a little afraid of her. The battle wasn't going so well. So he said, you will be my ally. So how is it? Krishna started to suck on her breast, and he began to take her life air away, and she, with 2 hands and all of her strength, tried to pull off Krishna, but she couldn't move him a hair. But yet Yashoda Mata very easily took Krishna with 1 hand and took him off and put him down.
Krishna's devotees are more powerful.
Krishna's devotees are more powerful sometimes than Krishna himself.
Confirmation.
Confirmation? Oh, okay, very good. So, Krishna was very upset about this, and he became very naughty. To make the story somewhat shorter, we know that he went and he took a stone, and he went and Gurudev explained they have these big pots of yogurt, and when they make the yogurt pots, the pots there, they're actually thicker on the top and thinner on the bottom. And Krishna knew this. And he took a stone and he began to bang it on the bottom of the yogurt pot. And that yogurt pot, all the yogurt came and spilled out completely all over the floor. And Krishna went and gathered a bunch, and he called his monkey friends. And the monkeys were very hungry, and Krishna had some duty to feed the monkeys. Who knows why?
Lord Ram.
Yes, very good. The monkeys helped Lord Ram, so Krishna felt some debt towards them. And they were also his friends. They liked to play together.
They helped him.
Yes.
While he was Lord Ram.
They helped him, and now he was helping to feed them, and they were his friends. So Krishna went through, and he gave them yogurt, and Mother Yashoda, she was searching for Krishna. And Krishna either wanted to be found or wasn't very good at covering his tracks, because he ran through the yogurt, and his footprints were all through the yogurt, and then the yogurt stuck to his feet, and then everywhere he went, he was hiding, his footprints could be found. She tracked him down. And she was very upset when she saw that Krishna had done this. And she decided, oh, Krishna, you have been very naughty. I must punish you. So what did she decide to do? Bind him. Bind him with a rope. So she took her rope. She chased him. Oh, well, not yet, but that was her intention. I'm going to bind you. But just give me a second here. When she went to bind him, Krishna ran away. Have anyone had that experience? They want to chastise a kid and the kids run away? Is that you, Gaur Krishna? Every day? Is that you, Varshanavali? So she ran and she chased Krishna all through that courtyard. We just talked about that courtyard. Everywhere. Until she became totally exhausted. Finally, all of her neighbors were looking, and they were thinking this was quite humorous. Her sari was coming loose, her hair was coming loose, and she was having no success. Finally, she caught him. She got a hold of him and she took her belt and went to tie it around him to this grinding mortar. She said, I'll tie you to this grinding mortar. But when she went to finish tying it, it was what? 2 fingers short. Huh, Garanga? 2 fingers short. Isn't that something? So she went and got another rope. And she tied that on. Should have been no problem. But it was still 2 fingers short. She got all the rope. She got rope from all the other gopis, every piece of rope that she could find. And it was still, unbelievably and miraculously, 2 fingers short. She was in tears by then. You know, she just didn't know what to do. And finally, what did she do?
Prayed to Lord Narayan.
She prayed to Lord Narayan. Oh, please help me. Please help me. I'm your servant, and I need your help. So this is the conception. She was 2 fingers short, right, with the rope, and she was just trying by her own effort. That's the 1 finger, right? With 1 finger, she was only trying only by her own effort. But now she was praying. She was praying for the mercy of Krishna. She was surrendering to God. Huh?
If you get in trouble, you should pray to Lord Narayan.
Pray to your Ishtadev. That was her Ishtadev, okay? But if you want, you pray to Lord Narayan all day long. Tell me what you get, I want to know. I want to hear all about it. But so she prayed to Lord Narayan, who's her Ishtadev, and then all of a sudden, amazingly, she was able to tie Lord Krishna to the grinding mortar. And guess how much rope she needed? Lord Krishna Prabhu? How much? Garanga? Well, now you'll know. The original rope that she took from her waist, that was all she needed. And that was because she prayed to the Lord and she made such a good effort on her own. And then she was able to bind Lord Krishna. And the rest is another story. Now it's time for Abhishek. But let's always remember this concept of 2 fingers, okay? What do 2 fingers mean?
Effort and mercy.
Effort and mercy. And where do you get the mercy?
Guru.
Guru. Sri Guru.
I thought that she endeavored so much.
Mm-hmm.
She was sweating and trying to, bind Krishna. Krishna had compassion. And therefore, the endeavors of the sadhaka, when we endeavor very sincerely, then Krishna will have some mercy on us.
Well, absolutely. But the conception that Gurudev gave is 2 fingers. Compassion will be there. That also comes from the praying. If you just work hard, anyone can work hard. But can you pray? Can you beg for mercy? Can you serve? So that's the missing ingredient. You must have the mercy through prayer. It's not cheap. You can't just go, oh, God, please give me a big house, a beautiful house. Like Gurudev was saying in the lecture tonight. He was saying, oh, if you have a beautiful wife and so much money and all these things, if you utilize this in Krishna consciousness, same goes. If a wife has a beautiful husband, so much money, if it's used in Krishna's service, then it's good. He said, all this is good. Family life, the Grihastha's household, all good. He said, oh, but if you think this is mine, oh, then this is not good. So, anyway, let's all try to always have this concept of 2 fingers. And our goal is to become Palyadasis of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. And today is Krishna's birthday, and we've heard so much wonderful Katha. In the beginning I was thinking how you were mentioning about the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the classes. This was the first conception. Today we've learned, oh, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we've also learned, oh, we should not see him that way. Hare Krishna. Okay. Ki Jai Ho. Shri Krishna Janmashtami Ki.